Welcome to This Day in Europe, where the President of the European Commission delivers a forceful address to the European Parliament in Strasbourg. Ursula von der Leyen warns that recent drone incursions and airspace violations are not isolated provocations, but a coherent and escalating campaign aimed at destabilizing the EU, sowing division, and undermining support for Ukraine. She argues that Europe's response must go beyond conventional defense and calls for enhanced deterrence, resilience, legal shields, coordinated strategy, plus a unified front to protect infrastructure, democratic institutions, and public confidence. Parallel to her speech is a fresh flashpoint. The EU is pressuring Belgium to agree to a plan using frozen Russian sovereign assets held via Euroclear in Brussels to fund a €140 billion reparations loan to support Ukraine. Belgium holds the bulk of Russia's frozen assets inside the EU, estimated at around €190 billion. If Belgium caves, the reparations loan scheme could inject predictability and scale into Ukraine aid, reducing reliance on unpredictable national contributions. It could also alleviate the burden on taxpayers within EU member states. But Prime Minister Bart de Wever says Belgium must be protected from legal and financial risk. While his resistance threatens to derail timelines, his hesitance is not trivial. The legal, financial, and reputational risks are real if lawsuits or Russian counterclaims emerge. De Wever demands guarantees that other EU states share any liability if something goes wrong. However, member states may balk at pooling liability. If some states refuse guarantees, the whole plan risks collapse. Meantime, ECB President Christine Lagarde recently cautioned that any use of frozen Russian assets must respect international law, and that missteps could weaken the euro's credibility and spook investors. The EU aims to finalize approval by December, with disbursement starting mid-next year. Look out for a breakthrough within weeks if Belgium is pressured or reassured by legal guarantees and shared risk frameworks. Some experts foresee a fallback whereby the EU might instead rely more heavily on interest revenue from frozen Russian assets rather than principal. On a side note, Belgium's national news agency reported back in February that frozen Russian assets at Euroclear earned the country €1.7 billion in tax revenue in 1 year. Today's convergence of von der Leyen's high-stakes warning and EU pressure on Belgium signals a pivotal moment. Europe is trying to turn hybrid provocation into strategic resolve and Russian assets into leverage for Ukraine's future. While success hinges on overcoming legal, political, and solidarity hurdles across capitals, the next few weeks will tell whether this is a turning point or another stalled effort. For A News, I'm Anita Sharma in the Netherlands.